Hey everybody, welcome to Chris Anderson Comics. I'm here today, once again, joined by my special guest, Dave Praetorius. How you doing, man?
Doing great. How you doing?
I'm doing really well. So today we're going to talk about your new book, Kaiju Panic.
Yeah.
This thing is something special. It is written by
Wolf, my son. Yeah.
Wolf, your son.
Yeah.
That's
He's my
amazing.
eldest of two boys. He came up with the story when he was about 6 years old. And yeah, it was interesting how it came about. We were like coming home from a road trip, long weekend in summer a couple years ago. And we had stopped for lunch and I was like thumbing through my phone on Instagram and looking at I think it was like the latest Next Panel Press releases,
Yeah.
Craig CK and Rick Lopez's like weekly strips. And
Hmm.
my kid's been interested in comic books since, I started dragging him to shows when he was 2. We would go to TCAF together and I'm pushing him in the stroller and he's getting comics and talking to people and stuff. And but first time he was kind of like curious about how they got made. And he was just
Okay.
asking me like, can anybody make a comic? And I'm like, yeah, man, anybody can make a comic. I can make a comic, you can make a comic. You got pencil, paper, an idea, you can do it. And so later
Hmm.
on, as we're driving home, he just kind of pipes up and he's like, I got an idea for a comic. Do you want to hear it? So he lays this whole book out to me in one go. And I was like, that sounds great. Do you want me to draw that? And he said, yes. And I think like a week later, I had this first page done. And it was something I was doing in the background between other projects and whatever. But he was always like on my case about it too.
Really?
He'd know if I was working the night previous in the morning. He'd be eating breakfast. He'd be like, "Did you work on any pages last night? Did you get anything done?" So like
Man,
he
cracking the
he
whip
pushed
on you.
me. Yeah. He was a tough little editor too.
Yeah.
There was things he made me redraw because it was not the way that he thought it should have gone down. But I think in the end, we made something pretty cool, and he's super proud of it, and I'm super proud of it too. And
Oh, that's great. I thought
yeah,
that's such a great idea, and I love that you you fulfilled his his ideas. Made it real, and he's gonna remember that for the rest of his life.
for
If
sure.
if,
It was it
if
was
it doesn't set him off on his own journey to become a comic creator.
Yeah, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. That's cool. I just wanted to kind of foster some creativity in the kid and show him that, what it takes
Yeah,
sometimes to put something like this out there. And he's loving it. I think his favorite thing is signing comics right now. We've been
that's awesome.
selling it online. We released the book a couple weeks ago, and he just wants to sign every single one. He's sending sketches out with them and stuff.
So cool.
Um, yeah, it's a lot of fun working with him
So
and playing with your kid.
yeah, I mean that's amazing. That's just got to be like the most rewarding thing. Besides having this finished product, just getting a chance to, hang and work with your own kid. It's pretty
Yeah,
cool. I love this first page and this giant kaiju here. And then as we go on, we kind of see that it's a kaiju. It's this giant kaiju with like 4 arms and this like dragonish head. But it takes place during, prehistory. There's dinosaurs in this world.
yes, yes. There is dinosaurs. There is people too.
Yes. Yes.
If you're eagle-eyed and catching them.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, it starts out and this T-Rex is just taking a nap in the forest and almost gets stepped on.
Yeah,
And
he was very annoyed by it.
yeah,
How did you do the screen tones? Is that digital
uh,
screen tones?
that is digital. Yeah.
Hmm.
So I think it's the True Grit Texture Supply, uh,
Okay.
like beat tone pack.
Yeah,
And
theirs are pretty good.
yeah, I'll do like hand done screen tones if I'm doing commissions or something
Sure.
like that. But
Yeah,
for
same.
something like this, uh, I would just rather do it digitally because it's
Oh yeah, so
you
much
know
faster and
faster and
less
cheaper.
expensive.
Yeah, screen tones are not cheap, but they are fun to play
No.
with.
Yeah, whenever I get a pack of screen tones, a different kind, I'll scan them real high res, and then I just pop them in, and
Oh
cut them
yeah,
out digitally. You know.
Yeah. I should try that.
So this T-Rex is pissed. I love this this foreshortening that you have going on where he's running towards the camera here. And as he's running in, the rest of the dinosaurs and the cavemen who are riding them, because this is like Flintstones-esque,
Yes.
are
And
running
that was
out.
one of Wolf's notes. He told
Yeah.
me, can we put some cavemen on those dinosaurs? I'm like, yeah, we can put some cavemen on those dinosaurs. Why not?
Of course.
You know, this whole thing was a big yes and sort of thing. I didn't want to tell him no on anything. I just wanted him to throw me curveballs, and I was
Totally.
going to make it work.
Yeah. I mean, I know when I was 6, I just figured that cavemen were walking around with dinosaurs, and especially since the Flintstones told me so, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. I was the same.
So you see this giant kaiju here as he's running towards it, and he reaches out and bites him. And then you got this great panel where it's, you know, you would start at the top, and he's looking down, and you see that he bit him here, and then you can follow it back up to where his tail nails him, throws him right in this tree. Ouch. Knocks him out a little bit, but he wakes up, snaps out of it. You know, he's drooling. He's, you know, like just went a couple rounds, and fires his arms off
Yep.
towards the kaiju. I love it.
Yeah. One of the things was he's got to have rocket arms. So
Didn't that like was it like a Shogun Godzilla or something like that from like the 80s that had the tongue that flicked out, and I think it had fists that popped off too when you pressed a button.
oh, I don't know. My kid's a big Godzilla fan, and him and I like to watch the old like 60s and 70s ones.
Yeah,
You
little
know,
Toho stuff.
Godzilla versus Megalon and
Yeah.
Son of Godzilla, Destroy All Monsters, stuff like that.
Yeah, that's the good stuff. They're so weird.
Yeah, it's like an hour of like a weird movie, and then a half an hour wrestling match with some guys in rubber suits.
Yeah, exactly.
Fantastic.
I mean,
We
what's not to
so
love,
jazzed
right?
watching it. Yeah.
Yeah. So he hits this guy, and the guy looks down at him, didn't do anything.
Yeah.
So he goes down, the kaiju goes down to grab him here, tosses him up into outer space, and he comes back down, at terminal velocity.
Talking
And
those arm guns. Ka-chak.
yeah, I'm just noticing that now. I didn't notice that before. So he's shooting into his back, and just bam. Like, I love this dinosaur's reaction too in the foreground. But blasts a crater into the ground. This is a great drawing.
Oh, thank you. And then you can see the brachiosaur or whatever laying in the rubble beside it. But
yeah.
Love
great line work on the smoke here too, man.
Oh, thank you.
It's very fluid. I like it.
That's the whole book is just done with this, which is the first time I've really ever done a whole book in a brush or this much illustration with a brush. So this was like the crash course with it.
Yeah, it's so much different than your work like in the Ghost Agent stuff. It's like totally different.
Yeah. After I'd done some of that stuff, I met Dave Johnson. I think you know Dave Johnson, right? Like
I do know Dave
cover
Johnson.
artist. Yeah.
Yep.
So he was tabling at he was tabling at a Toronto Comic Con, and I was talking to him. I was tabling that weekend too, and he was telling me how like nobody comes in for portfolio reviews with him anymore, and everyone like nobody wants to get the bad news, I guess.
He's the best. He'll tear you apart and make you feel super small, and you need it if you want to grow.
So I told him the next day I was coming back with my portfolio, and I did. And he, I didn't at that time. I didn't really have too much sequential stuff, but I had a lot of like pinups, and so we talked about inking quite a bit. And one of the things he stressed on me was like, "You get away from these microns. You're just making dead lines. It's like find a tool that allows you to do some thick to thin, and just use that tool. Master that tool." And so I started looking around for like brush pens and stuff. He recommended like those Kuretake brush pens. I got a few. I didn't love them as much. I think I have some
Were
back
they
here.
were they these ones, or are they?
Like, yeah, like this one here.
Yes, yes, yes.
And I didn't love
Yep.
it as much. He does great work with it. Not my thing, but I ended up finding this one, um, and I fell in love with it because I could get like needle point thin lines all the way to fairly thick lines, and yeah, I just went to town on this book with it.
Well, you did a great job. Yeah, Dave was probably one of my biggest teachers. He, Dan Panosian, and Jeff Johnson, and
Sure,
I
he
would
draw crew.
yeah, and I would take them. I would take a page to all of them once a week, and Dave would tear it apart in front of everybody, and everybody'd be like, "Oh my god, I can't believe. Are you okay? He just tore you a new one." I was like, "No, he didn't tear me a new one. He told me what was wrong with it. There was a lot wrong with it. I would take it home, fix it, come back, do it all over again. Yes, sir, may please have another." And I just got better that way. So
Exactly.
he's the guy he really is the guy to talk to. He's not gonna beat around the bush.
Yeah, and he gave me tons of great advice, and I would love to have that opportunity like you did to come back to him now, even if it's been about 2 years, and show him the progress.
Yeah, the growth that you've had. Yeah, that'd be great. And next time he comes around, definitely take it to him.
For sure.
So after the collision, the T-Rex climbs out. He's out of it, and it didn't do anything. In fact, the kaiju comes out, opens his mouth, and it's full of viper and a dragon tongue.
Yeah. This was again very specific request from my son. I had to talk him down in terms of the amount of snakes.
Okay.
He wanted 7 snakes in a
Okay.
dragon head, and I talked him down to 5.
Okay. So there was
But
a specific number.
yes, oh yeah. He knew exactly what he wanted, which is good, in a writer, and they can tell you exactly what they want. And we really wanted this to be sort of like the big reveal in the middle of the book, so I really planned storytelling around this being the midpoint. So if the book falls open, this is that big selling image.
Yeah. You really took some care on the viper scales. I've had to draw some lately, and I'm not as precise or patient of an artist, I think, as you are, because this is just these scales are just perfect. Such a good job, and the shadowing on them and everything. I love it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it was a few very late nights.
I bet.
Chatting on Discord with Sean Luke. Do you know Sean?
Yep, I know
Yeah.
Sean. Yep, we just did an episode together.
Yeah, and me just bitching to Sean about why did I draw all these scales? I didn't have to draw them. I could have implied them. And
because look at it.
Yeah.
Because look at what it is when you're done. That's why you did it.
Yeah, and so I knew too that like that one spread was going to be the main time that you see them all, and further on through the book, I can just kind of allude to them. But
right, exactly. So you say, as he does it again and again and again.
But not to the same degree as that one spread. Like,
True, they are smaller.
Yeah.
So these things are coming at him, and they kind of stand off here, and the viper starts spitting. He notices that it's acid, and he's like, "Oh, I got to get out of here." Dragon inside the dragon is breathing fire on him, so he finds this little cave to go into, and books it out, or books it. I guess he books it into the cave, huh?
Yeah, it was meant to be like some of the rubble from the explosion. A few rocks fell together, and so he found a way through to sneak through, and then the dragon, breathes fire in behind him, and he just narrowly escapes it.
Yeah. And so he's running out, runs through here, and he comes to this cliff's edge with this beautiful water shot. It's almost Charles Burns-esque in the way you handled the ink on here. It's great.
Yeah, Charles Burns is a big influence. I love his ink.
And then all of a sudden he starts having something's happening to his hands here. And he says, this fish here. I thought at first that this fish was like spitting water, but no, he's pulling the water up out of the ground into this ball of like a water ball.
And he's calling down lightning. And again, a very specific request from my son was that he could summon water full of fish. So I had to draw a lot of fish, and then lightning, and so that he could create this ball of electric fish, basically, is what he described it as.
Electric fish.
Yes.
Like not a Captain. It's like a Captain Beefheart record or something.
Yeah.
No, it's Trout Mask replica. And then he throws it, and of course, water and electricity don't mix, and it hits it and finally fries this guy. So he goes inside of the guy's mouth, and all of a sudden pops the eyeball out, and that is his prize at the end of the day.
Yeah, goes to town.
Yeah.
So you know, it's a pretty straightforward story. It's not super deep, but
but it's great, and it's silent. And I'm just noticing the black on black drawing here.
Yeah. That that was actually meant to have some more in it. I kind of rushed the print job on this to get it to Montreal Comic Arts Festival a couple months ago, and then had a big problem with UPS and it not arriving on time. So I could have taken the time to actually have filled out the back of that with what we had initially planned. But if we do a second printing, it'll be in there.
You can do that in the second printing.
Yeah.
When you sell out of these.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hopefully.
That is an awesome book. Does the QR code go to your info on here?
It should. I hope it does.
Okay. Well, everybody, you can probably scan that off of your monitor or your TV or whatever, but I'm also going to put it in the show notes. Tell Wolf that he has a lifetime fan in me. I can't wait to see what else he comes up with in the future.
We are currently cooking up book 2. We have a draw session planned for tomorrow morning where we're going to start fleshing out what the next Kaiju looks like.
I love it.
He has a whole 6-issue arc that he's planned out. He told me the broad strokes of the whole thing, and there's a lot of cool elements into it. Like this is a kid who is big into Pokemon and video games.
I can feel it.
Also loves Godzilla, and actually, I think one of the big influences for him on this too was Gone. If you know that manga series.
Yes.
The 90s, right? He got into. We found those books at the thrift store near us, and I bought them for him because I was like, "You're gonna love this." And this was before he could read. I think was part of the reason why he didn't want any talking or any sound effects or anything in the book. I snuck a few sound effects, but he couldn't read, but he could read Gone, and he loved explaining Gone to me. Like we would lie in bed, and he would just go panel by panel and tell me about the whole story that happened. And that was kind of what I was trying to build for him too, in terms of the way that I was drawing and everything. Was I wanted it to be his Gone,
right?
So that he could get it to other kids who maybe weren't, at a state where they could read yet.
Yeah,
but they could read his comic.
That makes a whole lot of sense. Well, next time when issue 2 comes out, we'll have you back on, and maybe we can have Wolf come on too and talk it through.
For sure, it's a little late for him tonight. Otherwise, he even asked me, he's like, "Why are you doing this?" And I'm not. Wow.
Next time, buddy. Well, Dave, it was really great having you on. Thanks for talking about this. People can get this at your website, right?
Yeah, redeyedraws.com. You can hit the shop there, and I've got copies of this, some sketchbooks I've done, some variant cover books I've done, stuff like that.
Awesome. I'll put a link in the show notes too. But well, thanks for coming on, and I can't wait to see the next one.
Thanks a lot, Chris.
All right, take care. Bye.
You too.
Cool. Join my Patreon to see my work before anyone else. Plus, score physical sketchbooks, mini comics, and commissions delivered right to your door. And reading my new books, Something Seems Off and Three-Headed Pigman, as they are made. Go to my website to order original art, commissions, and my books, Lost Angels, Spectral: A Showcase of Fear, Chaotic Neutral, and more. Gray Matter Drip, The Art of Chris Anderson, is available now from Cosmic Lion Productions. Here are the upcoming conventions I'll be at the time of this recording. And don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. It helps spread the word. Thanks.